Winners win and winners learn. There is no failure. We are going to face a whole bunch of challenges in our lives. You can take it and let it knot you up, turn you sideways, or you could say, great, what can I take from this and how am I going to move forward? Do I react and just let my mind take over because my mind is me? No. Remember, your mind is a tool. So I stop, I think, and then I act. Hello, I'd like to welcome you all to the Wisdom of Wrench podcast. My name is Kevin Comerford, and today we have a culture episode. Actually, we have a Culture Day episode. And I'll explain what I mean in just a minute. Before I do, I'd like to introduce someone who's in studio with me today, our producer, Andrew Zaragoza. Andrew, welcome.
Kevin.
Great to have you here, buddy.
Thank you for having me. I know I'm the one that turned everything on, but I'm still grateful that I'm here. Thank you.
Yeah. So we got a great show today. I mentioned it's a Culture Day episode. What I mean by that is I kind of want to set the stage, I want to set the stage for what I do in my company once a quarter. We gather all the team members together that are new, and we'll actually bring in a couple of veterans who can be there to re-listen to what we're going to share, affirm, call BS on us. And we really do ask them to call BS. We actually ask them to put the horns up as if it's a bull that's, pointing out bullshit that we might say. It's really important for that to happen when you're doing a presentation like I'm going to be sharing, which is the culture presentation that I give on Culture Day to between 45 and 50 team members once a quarter. This is a special day where we bring these team members in for anywhere between 4 to 6 hours and share our number one competitive advantage in the marketplace, which is culture. It's a big deal because we make it a big deal. So I want to set the stage again for all that are so everybody understands that, okay, imagine I'm in front of a room of 45 to 50 people, most of whom they're new with the company within the last 3 to 4 months. This is the presentation they are getting around culture from me. The title of this presentation is The One Presentation Every Team Member Must Hear.
So essentially, we're getting access to something that only those that have passed so many different levels to get to being able to hear this presentation. We're getting that, VIP access straight to that presentation right now.
Correct.
Got it. Very cool.
I'm going to go right into roll, Andrew. So team, welcome. This is the one presentation every team member must hear. And today we're going to talk about 3 things, always 3 things. We are going to talk about the mindset that it takes to be successful here at our company. We are going to talk about the second thing, which is own everything. And the third thing we're going to talk about is actions that you can take to ensure that you have a successful career here at our organization. So let's get right into number 1, which is mindset. Boy, oh boy, is this a favorite of mine. And there are 2 types of mindsets. There's an abundance mindset and a scarcity mindset. Some of you might have heard of this before, but you can just consider me to be the CRO in this case. I am the Chief Remind Officer. Yeah, maybe a fancy title, CEO, on my card. The reality is, what I take most pride in is being the CRO. And so that's what today is. Two types of mindsets, abundancy and scarcity. I learned this concept back in 1996 from a gentleman by the name of Bill Eford. Bill lived in Savannah, Georgia, ran a very, very successful home services business, and this guy blew my mind. Always up, always positive, always encouraging, always having a good time. This man was the first person that I ever heard explain an abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset and how it's critical for our success to have an abundance mindset. I also saw this demonstrated from someone very near and dear to my heart, Ray Diaz. Did Ray have it defined like Bill Eford? No. Yet let me tell you a little bit about Ray Diaz when I first started working with him. Ray Diaz and I have worked together for 30 years. That's no joke. That's like a marriage. And I'm talking about he and I, partners working together. I was blown away when I first started working with Ray. I was relatively young. Ray came in with about 17 to 20 years. He was 17 to 20 years my senior. And what I noticed from Ray, again, I was about 22, 23 years old when I first started working with Ray. The guy was always up. He was always excited, always fired up. And I was like blown away by this. I'm like, is this for real? Now, I think at 23, 24, I was still a little immature in my development with regards to how to constantly be in front of the people that I'm leading. The concept really never hit me that, look, leaders could never have a bad day. Here was Ray. I'm watching him. Again, I'm the general manager of the company, and this guy is leading me with the way that he's behaving. One day I had a conversation with Ray, and I said, Ray, how do you do this? How do you constantly stay up? And he said, Kevin, just know I got to work at it every day. I wake up in the morning at times and I've got stinking thinking going on. And I, like anybody else, need a checkup from the neck up. It's a choice that I make to live in this state. And he didn't say this, but this is what it was, to live in this state of abundance. Wow. Okay. Because team, doldrums are real. We all go through doldrums. We do. We do. And I'm going to talk about what I'm going to say next because it was at the end of this podcast. I want to say it on the front end, though, because I want you to hear what I learned from a good friend of mine, Chad Johnson, the other day that totally blew me away. We all will go through challenges. We all have doldrums. Maturity is the ability to return to joy quicker after disappointment. Let me say that again. Maturity is the ability to return to joy quicker after disappointment. Does it say anywhere that will be without disappointment? That doldrums will go away? Quite the opposite, team. You've lived life, you know disappointments happen, challenges happen, doldrums happen. As I mature and I become more mature, emotionally especially, My ability to return to joy quicker after disappointment is what improves, is what gets better, is what gets, as it says, gets quicker. So let's dive in, staying focused on this mindset, and first talk about one component of it, the first component, which is scarcity. If you have a scarcity mindset, team, this is what you think. Everything in life is running out, so I have to get mine. I have to hoard things. Oh my gosh. I've got to get mine. I got to grab mine because everything is running out. This is a fear-based mindset that creates a tremendous amount of anxiety in you if you have a scarcity mindset. Some people in this day and age call it and refer to it as FOMO, fear of missing out. The other way that it's described is it's someone that has a win-lose mentality, which means if I win, someone else has to be losing. Or the only way that I must have to lose in order for somebody else to win. So if I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, if I have other call center agents or other accounting people that are achieving and doing well, wait a second, they're winning, I have to lose. I might even look to step in and stop them from achieving. If I have a scarcity mindset where I think everything is win-lose. I want to give an example. From an early age, I want to show you how, in a really simple situation, how scarcity showed up for me. It was actually created by a cruise ship that I went on. When I used to go on cruise ships with my parents, and I was in charge of going down and signing us up for the excursions. And they used to tell you that you needed to be down at 3 o'clock, or as soon as you boarded the ship, you needed to head right down to the bowels of the ship, to the desk down there, and sign up for these excursions. Holy cow, did I have a scarcity mindset. As soon as I boarded the boat, it was like fear. Oh my gosh, we're going to totally miss out on these excursions unless we get down there. I would scramble and race and be so uncomfortable to get down to that desk where the excursion person was to sign up. If there was a line, I would, there's a group of people, I'd look to be pushing my way up to the front. Why? Scarcity. In order for me to go on this trip, someone else had to get kicked off. The reality is they had enough excursion boats that if one boat got filled, they would just have another boat to go snorkeling or whatever excursion, or for quad running, or go on quads on the island, or whatever it was. But I had this mindset. It was terrible. I got to get down there. I got to be first in line. I got to get signed up. I might lose our spot. Oh my gosh, total scarcity mindset. Believe it or not, I saw this same thing happen just outside the building here that we're recording the studio. A Costco just opened up literally within a stone's throw of this building. They created so much scarcity on the day that they opened. There was this gigantic line of people. I swear it was a half a mile long of people that were wanting to be the first ones in there to get into Costco to see what it's a Costco. I just about said to see what it looks like. You know what it looks like. They have this amazing ability to create this scarcity mindset and this be the first in line. Why? It's all promotional. Sure, they might give away some whiskeys to the first 100 people. That's what I heard, because I actually knew some people that actually ended up in line and they gave away some free whiskeys or whatever. Just ridiculous. Got to get in line. I got to camp out. They camped out the night before to get into Costco. Be one of the first ones the very first day it opened. Okay. Do I look down upon those people? No. Yet I want to make sure that if you get this feeling of scarcity, I want to share with you what it looks like. Stressful. I mentioned it earlier, a tremendous amount of anxiety, tension, pessimistic. If I win, someone has to lose. That's the thought process. That may be different than the feeling, yet when you have that thought process, guess what feelings bubble up? Let's switch over to something so much more delightful. What is an abundance mindset? It is the belief that there is plenty for all of us. Take that in for a second. There's plenty for all of us, and we will always be taken care of. I want to jump over really quick to another scarcity example because I had this with a competitor in town here. The name of this competitor was Fresky. And when we used to compete with them, they were about the same size as my father's company when I used to run his company. And oh my gosh, did I have a lot of scarcity whenever I heard their name. It like created tension inside of me because I thought, oh my gosh, they're going to win bids from us. They're going to take business from us. Holy cow, as I matured and realized that there is plenty of business for all of us. And competition is great. Competition is really, really great because what it does is it makes us sharpen our saw. It makes us dig deep and get better. And that's better for the entire marketplace. So that example of scarcity, again, I wanted to share that because it reminded me as I was sharing abundance, when I have an abundance mindset, it's like, hey, there is enough business for my dad's company and Fresky's to work in the same marketplace. We make up combined about 7% of the market. Such a small, minuscule part. Yet I was freaked out, stressed out. Boy, welcome to Kevin's early management years. Ridden with a scarcity mindset. Couple of other things about an abundance mindset or living in abundance. Everything in life always works out. Think about that for a second. If you carry this mantra, which, by the way, I shared this weekend with someone that was a little bit stressed about stuff, needed to work through some things in particular, everything in life always works out. Does that mean I have to take action? Absolutely. Yet sitting there worried about it, stressed about it, anxious about it is living the opposite of an abundance mindset. Knowing that everything always works out in life puts abundance right at the forefront. The other thing that an abundance mindset, a quote that comes to my mind is this: most things I worry about in life never seem to happen. So then, why do I expend and waste so much energy worrying about stuff? I want you to think back. or even think forward. If you're worried about something right now, I want you to write it down. In 2, 3, 4 days from now, I want you to look and see, did that thing that I was actually worried about happen? Most things in life I worry about never seem to happen. And if you carry an abundance mindset, it is so easy to live by that mantra. An abundance person comes from a place of gratitude. They are thankful for what they have, versus a scarcity mindset person is always digging deep and always wanting or looking at what they don't have and always rubbing their hands. And that's obviously a figure. I'm just doing this for effect, but they're like, I want, nothing wrong with wanting more. It's very different than being happy and content with what you have. It's this feeling that I'm not happy with what I have. I want to focus on what I don't have. Whew. Oh boy. There's a concept that I want to talk to you about with regards to living an abundance life, which is this. It is a big common service language item at our company, and it's called measure backwards. It's always looking at how far you've come, knowing that your mind is always going to set new targets in the future after you've made progress. The example I give is normally about losing weight. It always happens this way. This is what measuring backwards is all about. Let's say I start and I weigh about 220 pounds, and I set a goal and a target that I want to lose 40. Okay. Let's say I go along, I'm living a disciplined life. I don't care. I'm taking Ozempic, whatever you got to do. Okay. I lose the 40 pounds, right? I started here at 220. I've now moved forward 6 months later, 4 to 6 months later, and now I'm 180. Our mind, which I love, it's a beautiful thing, will always create a new ideal. It is a goal-seeking device. So even though I've made major progress from 220 pounds to 180 pounds, it will now set a new target. Boy, it might be additional weight. It might be, I want to lose this little fat area when I look in the mirror. Okay? Because, losing weight is all about looking good naked. That's all it's about. That's all life is, man. So if you look in the mirror and you've got this little bit of weight that you're carrying around your waist still, even though you've lost the 40 pounds, your mind will focus on that as your next goal. And what you've got to be really careful of is how you measure yourself. If you're sitting there at 180 pounds, which is an unbelievable accomplishment, and you measure backwards from where you came from, you will live and you will be in what I call the positive zone. You will be living a life of abundance. If you measure yourself against this new ideal that you automatically, let me assure you, will set for yourself, you will live in what's called the negative zone, or live in and have a scarcity mindset. So it's really just understanding your brain, as I've said before, that your brain is a goal-seeking device. Your brain is different than you. Hear me when I say that. You have Kevin and Kevin's soul over here, and you have Kevin's brain. A lot of people think that my brain is me. No, your brain is a tool to accomplish things in life. Your brain is a thinking tool, an action tool, whatever it is. It's a tool to get things accomplished in your life. to figure things out. If you think your brain is you, oh gosh, you will thrash back and forth because your brain plays tricks on you all the time. Your brain speaks to you and will criticize you and will come up with things, and it's all because it always is setting new goals. Even when you accomplish stuff, it's my buddy calls it his bitch voice. It comes straight from his brain, though. He's achieved a lot. He had a great year, had a great month, whatever. But there's your brain going, gosh, man, you could have done better. Why does it do that? It's looking to set new goals. It's looking to accomplish new things. Make sure that you are intentional with the way that you measure yourself and control your brain to measure backwards. You, me, Kevin, my soul is in charge. And I say, look, brain, measure backwards, and I will stay living in this space and in this place of abundance. The feelings when you live in abundance, they are feelings of joy. They are feelings of satisfaction. They are feelings of contentment. They are feelings of optimism. Wow. Wow. What a difference, and what a way to go through life versus scarcity. And all this is available to us if you just understand the differences between the two, and you are intentional with staying in abundance. Remember, there's plenty for all of us. The second concept I want to talk about today is own everything. Own everything. It's so much easier to go through life when you just own everything. Jocko Willink, who wrote the book Extreme Ownership, really stresses this point when he says, everything is my fault. There's no blaming. Anytime there's a challenge that goes on in your life, just think through, what is it that I could have done differently? Because once you ask yourself that what action question, or what I could have done differently, it puts you in a completely different mindset than if you ask the other question, which is a why victim question. Simple example. Driving on the freeway. Let's say someone is looking to merge in with me. And all of a sudden they swerve really quick in and get in, and I have to hit my brakes, and I could get all upset, right? I can get all pissed off. Why in the heck is that person? Why do they drive like that? Why? I mean, do they not realize I've got children in the car, and why would they want to put our lives in jeopardy? Okay, now I've gone through this whole emotional, draining experience, and it's all because of the question I asked myself, or the question that I just asked in general. Why victim? I went into a why victim mode versus, okay, boom, guy cuts me off. Whoa, okay, what could I have done differently? Okay, let me kind of back off. I could have actually probably pressed the brake and let him get in, and rather than come off the on-ramp so fast like I was, what could I have done? Okay, maybe whatever it was, asking yourself a what action question, even when the person cut you off, everything is my fault, is such a better way to go through life, because you protect your energy. You protect yourself from spinning out of control emotionally, which does nobody any good. And really, what the other thing is when you ask yourself a what action question, you can actually resolve the issue, whatever issue there is, whether it's an issue in your mind or an issue in reality, or that's going on. That is, an issue in your mind or an issue that's actually going on in reality. A lot of the time, the issue that has to be resolved is the one in my mind. And so it's all about managing the story we tell ourselves when we get faced with a challenge. Unbelievable. What action versus why victim. This also shows up for me in my marriage. And I've said this before in past podcasts. I'm going to say it again because I believe it. Anytime I'm frustrated at my wife, there is always something going on inside of me that is causing me to react the way that I'm reacting towards her. Always. I ask you to check yourself on this. When you get into a little tiff with your loved one, with your spouse, just ask yourself this question that I ask myself. Is there something that I may be insecure about in this situation? Is there something that I'm a little bit pissed off about that I failed to communicate, but yet it came out in a different way? Own it. Own it, Kevin. When you get mad at your wife or you get frustrated at your wife, which is more, don't get mad. I get frustrated at times. Ask yourself, okay, if everything's my fault, I just got frustrated at my wife. Everything's my fault. Okay, what is it, Kevin, that's going on inside of you that might have caused that? Oh my gosh. Okay. Maybe I haven't worked out in a couple of days and I'm feeling kind of loady and I don't feel real good about myself. And guess what? That shows up and comes out of me in different forms. It's just the way it is. Another extreme example would be, and it's so true, is the baby on the plane. Say I'm sitting on a plane headed to New York. I got a baby right behind me that's crying. Boy, oh boy, baby cries for the next hour and a half. I can absolutely go into why victim mode and be like, why is that father failing to pick that kid up and take them in the back? Why are they not giving that kid the food or the bottle that they need? Or why are these parents allowing this to energy drain? Okay. Same situation. I ask myself a what action question. What could I do to have prevented this situation? Okay. I could have brought headphones. I could get better headphones. Okay. I'm going to own this. It's on me. I own it. It's on me. The reason this baby is bothering me is because I either left or failed to buy headphones. I now know in the future what I'm going to do is make sure I have great silencing headphones the next time I'm on a plane. Why? Because I own everything. Own everything. You know, this also shows up for me when it came to what I used to do when I was pretty early, and I fall in this trap still. I used to be quite judging. Like, I was judgmental. You know, I remember when I was growing up and, you know, people with tattoos or people with long hair or whatever, they were bad people, whatever. That's how I was raised. And I was raised, that's very judging. And that's what I was brought up in the school that I was brought up in. That if they had earrings or tattoos or nose piercings, there was something wrong with them. That's judging. what I learned is, Kevin, just be more allowing. Just be more allowing. Let others live their life. It's so much less stressful. The stress is gone if you're just allowing and let others live versus being judging. The energy suck that takes place when I'm judging, it's unbelievable. So I relate these two, everything is my fault, and being less judging, because the same thing, I'm looking for the same thing, is save your energy, Kev. Save your energy. The third and final thing we're going to talk about today is, what actions can I take? What can I do if I fall into the scarcity mentality? Because let me assure you, we will all fall into the scarcity mindset. Why? Because we talked about this earlier. Challenges happen to us, and we are emotional people. Emotion. I wish they were standstills. I wish they were standstills and they remained the same. They are emotions. They are constantly moving. Constantly moving. And when we get hit with a challenge, and we're all going to be faced with 3 challenges in our life, all of us, every single one of us will at one time or another get hit with a big financial challenge, or multiple. We'll all be in financial challenges. No matter who you are, me included, we will all get hit with a financial challenge at one time or another. Unavoidable. We will all get hit with relationship challenges. We will all be faced with that uncle, that brother-in-law, that sister, whatever in our families that cause us extreme relationship challenges. And the final thing is, we'll all be faced with health challenges at one time or another, all the way up until the final health challenge that we will all face and have to deal with and come to grips with at the end of our life. We all will deal with those 3 challenges. None of us are immune to those. None of us. What it comes down to is, how do I deal with them? Well, knowing that I'm going to be faced with those 3 challenges, how do I deal with them? Do I react and just let my mind take over because my mind is me? No. Remember, your mind is a tool. So I stop, I think, and then I act. 100% I can react, or I can do the opposite. Stop, think, and act. It's that stopping, it's that thinking that takes us out of that emotional state. And then obviously it's the acting. You got to take action, because just like, Navy SEALs or in the military, they talk about action is the antidote for anxiety. Action is the antidote for stress. So if you're faced with a challenge that is causing you stress, causing you strife, causing you anxiety, stress, whatever, take action. Do something. And guess what? Magically, that stress, that anxiety begins to peel away. Well, keeping on that concept of what can I do if I fall into that scarcity mindset, we talked about it earlier. Measure backwards. I've shared this many, many times. I'm going to share it again. I wake up every morning and I write down what were my wins from the previous day. You guys might get sick of that. Again, my job is to be the chief remind officer. Okay. Just reminding everybody, because we all need to hear it. I needed to hear it. I needed to hear it over and over again for me to take action and finally start journaling in 2009. because I was alive. I was born in 71. So from 71 to 2009, there was no journaling in my life, yet I had heard it over and over again many times. So again, journaling, write down what were your 3 wins from the previous day so that you can stay focused on the positive, focused on what went well, because where my focus goes, my energy flows. So I like to make my energy focus and flow towards the good. And that also helps me with staying and having and coming from a place of gratitude. First thing I do when I wake up every morning, is I say, this is going to be a great day. I'm so excited. Man, I am so lucky. What a life I live. Those are words and thoughts that I have every single morning. I have got the greatest life in the world. I am so blessed. I am so lucky. Every single morning I wake up, those are the thoughts that I have in my mind. I absolutely could wake up every single morning and be like, that alarm clock. I hate that thing. Why do I have to hit the snooze button? And I can hit the snooze button 4 or 5 or 6 times and, be totally miserable. I got to get up and go feed the dog or whatever it is. Whatever that initial mindset is, that when I wake up, oh gosh, okay, I look at that as an opportunity clock. It's not an alarm clock. It's an opportunity clock. It's all a shift, minor shifts in mindset. That is absolutely something every single one of us can do right now, starting today for the rest of our life. Small little changes that make a huge difference. The other thing you can do is look at who you're associating with. I've said this many, many times. I'll say it again. Your income is equal to the 5 people you spend time with the most. Your income will be equal to the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So, let that be your blueprint for who you spend time with, what your social calendar looks like. And you don't want to be that guy that's dragging other people down. So you want to get your income up. You don't want to be somebody that pulls someone else's average income down because you're the low guy on the totem pole, right? So you want to build your skyscraper up. And the only way that you can do that is to associate with people who's have great and better and family situations that you admire. Their fitness is something that you admire. Their financial and their kids, the way that they raise their kids is something that you admire. Hang out with those people. Hang out and rather than be insecure when you're around those people, know that, I'm learning. I'm going into learning curiosity mode. I'm going into the mode that is going to help me be a better human being. The other thing you can do is continue to feed your mind. What readers are leaders? What books are you reading regularly? Get 10 pages a day in every single morning. What podcasts are you listening to? Are they aligned with your values? Are they aligned with what it is that you want and what it is that you want to achieve? If all you do is listen to sports talk radio every single day, oh my gosh, it is unbelievable the amount of wasted time and wasted energy that can happen when you listen to sports talk radio. It's just wasted. Are you someone that watches the news a lot? Are you someone that comes home and flips on the news? Holy cow. If you are, just know, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, Fox and CNN, they're only built for one reason, to get you to come back and watch tomorrow. They create a tremendous amount of scarcity and fear inside of us so that you come back and watch tomorrow. I know that because I was a journalism major. That was my major. Our intent was to create this so that our viewership remained the same and continued to grow each and every day, every year. I have to have people come back. The only way you can do that is to create fear, create scarcity, both of them on either side of the table or either side of the aisle. That's what they're doing. Okay? Just know that. Final thing you can do is take care of your castle. The action you can take is make sure you're getting the proper amount of sleep, make sure you're getting the proper nutrition, and make sure you get the proper amount of exercise on a regular basis to take care of your castle. The fourth thing I like to add in there is make sure you're getting the right mindset training or just the mental health part of that, which is really the reading and the journaling. You're that fourth component to take care of your castle is that part that is so critical when it comes to making sure that your mental health is staying attuned to good things and healthy things. And so that's what I mean when I say taking care of your castle. I said earlier, I mentioned my buddy, Chad Johnson, when I said that quote that Chad Johnson shared with me, which was, maturity is the ability to return to joy quicker after disappointment. That is the definition of maturity. And boy, oh boy, is that appropriate to end this podcast with, along with another quote that Chad shared. And I was on a call with him. He's mentoring these 14 young men, incredible, from across the country. He asked me to join in because we were doing a journaling class together. He's mentoring these 14 young men, many of which who just recently lost their father. So that's why he brought them in and said, hey, I want to help you. It was his brother who passed away. So he took it upon himself to begin mentoring these young men. And another quote that Chad shared, which is, winners win and winners learn. There is no failure. Winners win and winners learn. And so if I could leave you today with a concept around culture and what culture stands for here at our company, it would be that winners win and winners learn. There is no failure. We are going to face a whole bunch of challenges in our lives. You can take it and let it knot you up and turn you sideways, or you could say, great, what wonderful learning. What can I take from this? And how am I going to move forward? So if I can just recap really quick the three things we talked about today. Number one, mindset, the importance of carrying an abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset. The beautiful thing is you can only be in one or the other at any given moment. You can't be in both. So if you're in an abundance mindset, you're probably practicing so many of the things that we talked about today. Number two, own everything. Everything is my fault. Okay? Rather than blame, look to solve. Rather than ask yourself a why victim question, ask yourself a what action question. I gave the example of my wife. I gave the example of the baby on the airplane. Go back and listen to it. Great examples that you can apply today in your life. The third thing that we talked about is actions that you can take or that I can take when I face challenges or if I slip into that scarcity mindset. The first was that mental exercise of journaling and measuring backwards. The second was look around. Who am I associating with? The third thing was, take care of Kevin. Take care of that castle. And always remember that quote from Chad, which now I'm saying it twice, which is maturity is the ability to return to joy quicker when you face disappointment. When you live these three concepts and you understand the culture that drives this company, this specific company, I guarantee you your future will be bigger than your past. And ladies and gentlemen, here's to a bigger future. Thank you very much.